Hey, in this video, I'll share about how I discovered the secret to sustaining long-term commitments. This is my favorite video out of this series so far because I love just long-term relationships, and I bet you would never guess what that secret is. The secret revolves around one crucial and magical word, and that word is temporary. And I know it sounds like an oxymoron. How can something that is temporary actually be the secret to long-term commitments? This revelation came from my experience as a piano teacher, as well as from the teachings of Neil Moore, who is my teaching mentor and the founder of the Simply Music program. Embracing the concept of temporary not only boosted my own perseverance, but it also actually worked really well with my students. It is helping them maintain an unwavering commitment to an activity and see it through to its completion. If we haven't met before, hello, my name is Kat. Thank you for being here, and if you're enjoying the video so far, go ahead and click like and subscribe. It really helps with growing the channel. Today is video number 6 in my series of 8 videos where I dive into my P.A.R.E.N.T framework that will help you turn your overwhelm into confident decision making so you can unlock your child's full potential with the right activity. And if you have not yet downloaded my free PDF guide, make sure you click the description box below to check the link so you can download that and have that ready and handy when you're choosing an activity for your child. When choosing an activity for your child, it is important that you as a parent must first learn the essential skill of navigating your child through the highs and the lows of the learning process. In any skill or activity, there will be days when your kid is completely all hyped up, especially at the start. And then there are those days when they hit a roadblock and they're wondering, what am I even doing here? And on some days, they might just absolutely hate the journey. It's a roller coaster of emotions, from excitement to frustration and maybe even a bit of rebellion. But guess what? This is all a part of the learning process, and this is completely normal. And you, as a parent, are also going to have these moments. You're going to question if it's even worth it, or if you should just give in and let them quit. You're going to wonder if you're being a bad parent because it feels like you're forcing them to stick with this activity that you've chosen for them. And on the flip side, there will be days when you're like, you know what? You're gonna stick with this. I'm sure that sounds familiar. Encouraging your child to persist even when faced with challenges is a very valuable life skill. Through these experiences, they are learning how to navigate the complexities of maintaining long-term commitments, which is a skill that transcends the activity that you've chosen for them and into all the various aspects of life, such as their careers, their friendships, and their love relationships, and so much more. Now let's dive into the 3 stages that you and your child will encounter in this learning journey. It's called the peaks, plateaus, and valleys. This is a framework that I learned from Neil Moore, as I mentioned earlier. In my own studio with my piano students, this is something that I regularly discuss, not just with my students, but also with their parents, which has really helped them stick with piano lessons for longer than the average child who usually quits within 2 years of lessons. So your child just started the activity, whether it's music lessons or basketball or coding. They are in that peak of curiosity and just engaged, and they're just so excited to go to their lessons every single week because it is new. As a parent, you share in their excitement. It's so fun to watch them be excited about the activity, and the best part is you don't have to do much, right? There's not a lot of effort on your part to get them to maybe practice or commit or do the homework because you're seeing that they're excited in the activity. But you have to remember that peaks are like sunshines. They are bright and beautiful and enjoyable. It comes every morning. But remember that here comes the crucial and magical word. Sunshine is also temporary. It comes every morning. It leaves at night, right? So just like the peaks, it is temporary. It is here for a moment and then it might be gone tomorrow. The second stage is the plateau. The learning plateau is when they've been at it for a while and then suddenly it just feels monotonous. It feels like the progress maybe have slowed down. It feels like they're just kind of doing it just for the sake of doing it. That means they've hit a plateau. But remember that this is a part of the learning journey. As a parent, you might find yourself in sync with your child. It's not that you or your child dislike the activity. It's just that This overwhelming love and excitement that was there in the beginning is now taking a little break. And now you're in this limbo stage where it's just blah and it doesn't really feel good. When you've hit a plateau, it's important to maybe introduce some variety within that activity. So maybe if it's sports, introducing new and different drills. If it's music lessons, maybe introducing some new practice games. Anything that can make it fresh again is something that would really be helpful when you're in that plateau stage. Remember that plateaus are like a gentle slope, a momentary pause. And the slower progress in this particular stage is okay, because guess what? You can take a breath, you can relax, because this stage is also temporary. Embracing the discomfort even when things seems a bit mundane or blah is actually a powerful life lesson. You're teaching your kids the ability to show up powerfully and consistently even when life seems a less vibrant. And at last, the last stage is the valleys, which are the tough days. Your kids, and maybe you are too, are just in the valley and you're questioning if this is really even worth the effort. But this is where your resilience and your support is the most important. I was at an aerial studio the other day, and as I was doing, my reps with my pull-ups, my coach told me that if you already know how to do 5 pull-ups and you do 5 every day, that's just for maintenance. But if you can't get past 5, that 6th one is where you actually build strength. And now you start doing 6, and that's easy. So when you do 6, that's just maintenance. And then when you get to the 7th one, the part that's really hard, that's where you actually build your strength, right? So it's the same thing with all these highs and lows with learning a skill or in any activity. When you are in that valley, that is where you build your skill. So as a parent, when it gets tough and it feels like you're pulling teeth to get them engaged in this activity, don't throw the towel just yet. Here are some things you can do to combat the valleys. Number 1 is really have an open communication with your child. Create a safe space for them to express their frustration and their experiences, because what they're feeling is completely valid, and you have to allow them to let it out, because sometimes it might not even be about the activity itself. It could be that something is happening in the background. Maybe they're having trouble in school with a friend or with a teacher, whatever that may be. Sometimes it doesn't even involve the activity. It's just that the stuff that's happening in the background is affecting them so much that all of a sudden they just lose interest in everything else that they're doing. And number 2, remember the P in parent that stands for purpose. Revisit that purpose. Bring to life your established purpose statement that I talked about in video number 2 in this series. Remember that valleys are like passing storms. They are tough, they are difficult to have to endure through, but they give way to brighter days. Just remember that crucial and magical word. It's also temporary. So breathe and relax. The last thing here I think is very important to address is that there are moments when quitting is appropriate, but it's usually not the best time to quit when you are in a valley. If you let your child quit during challenging times, you are inadvertently teaching your child that it's okay to quit when things are difficult. This could potentially contribute to the development of a weaker character, hindering them from having the ability to persevere, have resilience, and finish strong. So now do you see how the word temporary is so crucial and magical? It truly is the secret sauce in helping you and your child have staying power in your long-term commitments. Understanding and accepting the temporary nature of these ups and downs give you the permission to breathe and relax. It's okay to feel the weight of the valley. So acknowledge it and just know that it is not a permanent state. This perspective will allow you and your child to navigate through the ups and downs with so much hope and resilience. When you choose an activity for your child, just know that these 3 stages, the peaks, plateaus, and valleys, are for sure headed your way. So be prepared to help your child navigate through all of that. I hope you enjoyed today's video. This is truly one of my favorite things to talk about. There's just so much power in, knowing how to stick with your long-term commitments. There's beauty in that. In a world right now where people just give up so easily, I think that there is so much beauty in that. So I hope that This will allow you to teach your child that value, and I'll see you in the next video where I talk about the T in parent, which stands for time. Thanks again, and if you haven't yet, click like and subscribe.